Just did my hair yesterday and I feel like it already looks crazy. Before we start, I'm just concealing these little buggers because I don't want to have to look at them. Better. Hey guys, I don't have work today at all, so I thought we'd sit down and play with some fun makeup, something colorful. What do we think? Yes? Okay, let's do it. I'm going to use my Catrice Liquid Camouflage Concealer to kind of cancel out my lid color a little bit because we're going to start with the eyes today. Or you could also call this cat rice if you're my husband. Did anybody watch that video? Because I thought it was so funny. And maybe it's just because like I know him and I know his personality, but I don't know. I loved it. I wish he would be on my channel more, but he probably won't. It's not even that like he's embarrassed or anything, he just doesn't like it. But I think he had fun during that video, so maybe I can convince him to come back. I don't know. Okay, so I set that concealer down with my Glossier Wowder just to have a smooth canvas so that all the colors will blend out seamlessly. Now, this might be crazy, but I really want to use the blues in this So Jaded palette. I've never really used them before and they're beautiful and I just want to. So we're gonna try it and I don't know how it's gonna go, but we'll see. Since I don't know what I'm doing, I am going to do one eye off camera really quick, kind of get my bearings so that this is more of a teachable tutorial instead of you watching me trying to figure out what the heck I'm doing. And then I'll be right back and we'll do it together. I'm back. Check this out. Oh my goodness, so fun. Definitely not wearable. I don't know when you would need a look like this, but this is what we're doing. So going back in, I kind of need to clean these brushes off. Okay, so I'm going in. This is a super old Revlon contour shadow brush. I use this one a lot because it is short and tapered and really soft, so you can pack on and blend out shadow. So we're gonna take this brush and go into Sapphire right here. I'm just gonna press it on the side of the brush and then tap off the extra. Then what I'm doing is packing this on the inner and outer corner, starting at the lash line first and kind of working up to my crease, not putting it in the crease, but just working right up to it. And then we'll blend it out in a second. And as you'll see, we kind of did like a little bit of a halo eye. So we'll be leaving the center bare, but really deepening up the inner and outer corners. This shade, if you can't already see it, is a little bit difficult to build up the pigment and make it really opaque. So I would definitely recommend, if you're trying to really get that color to be really bold, packing it on first like I am, just kind of pressing it in before you have to blend it out, and you may even have to layer it up a couple times to get it to the intensity that you want. Because you can see even on my outer corner over here, it did get a little bit like patchy. But I tried kind of as hard as I could. Let's take this back in and see. I don't know, that kind of helps. You just have to do a lot of like layering, then blending, then layering, then blending, and then it will get to a place that you like. Using that same brush, I'm just sort of gonna swirl off any excess color onto like a paper towel. Then I'm going to dip more of the tip of the brush into turquoise right here. This one's a lot more pigmented and like even pigment as well. And we're gonna use this to blend out the edges of that shade. So kind of working right along the outside of what we just applied. And I'm just sort of wiggling the brush back and forth to really get that buffed and blended out. We're also going to use this shade to connect everything through the crease and just buff and blend. Now that that's down, I'm going back into Sapphire, that darker blue, and packing that on the outer corner again, because you can see I already lost some of that intensity. Then I'm just taking a clean blending brush. This is a Morphe 333, and there's no product on this, and I'm just swirling this along the edges because I'm not gonna add any transition shades like brown, anything like that. This is it. So I want to make sure that this is like buffed and blended out really softly. Now looking in my eye, this eye folds a little bit funny, so I feel like you're losing a little bit of that deep blue. So I'm just gonna go back in and carry it up just a tiny bit higher. And I'm gently dragging that through the crease as well. Now that we're here, it's time to do that center kind of highlighty shade. I layered aquamarine and then I put opal on top for a little bit of glitter. Aquamarine right here is not super opaque, I'm gonna be totally honest. It did take a lot of effort to kind of blend it in and get it buffed where I wanted it on the skin. You can see even like when I pick it up here, it just is a little bit powdery. I don't know if you can really tell, and then there's like see-through parts like down here. So it's just a little bit tough to work with, I think. I just feel like no matter how much I tried to blend this out and make it really pigmented at the same time, my bare skin was still just kind of like showing through. But honestly, this eye is looking a lot better than the other, so maybe there was like a film on the top. Sometimes that happens with shadows, like the first layer of the shadow is more of like a sealant, not so pigmented, because this side looks a lot better. So maybe I'm crazy. Now I'm taking that glitter just on my finger and I'm gonna press that, oh, wrong eye. And I'm gonna press that over top of that shade. This glitter is super fun. It is very, very, very chunky, but it's beautiful. It's so weird how much more opaque this second eye is compared to this eye. Can you see that? I don't know. Weird. I guess this was like my practice eye, and now we're getting to like the good eye right here because this looks so much better. Anyway, now I have this BFF cream gel liner from ColourPop. This is in the shade DTLA, just a nice kind of dark navy blue, and I'm going to use this to line the upper lash line. And you do want to be a little bit careful because those glitter flecks are not the most secure. So if you can see, I've got glitter all over that liner now because it just sort of picked it up and dragged it around. It can also fall into your eye, and since they are larger chunks of glitter, it's not super comfortable. So keep that in mind. If you don't want to add the glitter, you don't have to. And after that liner is down, I'm going to go ahead and line the bottom waterline as well. Then I'm taking this Morphe M204, sort of a flat like shader brush, and I'm grabbing Sapphire on the tip of that brush, and I'm sort of pressing that in to just deepen up and blend out that bottom lash line. Then taking this larger e.l.f. blending brush, sort of again like a flat shape but a lot larger and fluffy, taking turquoise on that brush. I'm going to tap off a lot of the extra and then use this to buff over that shade and just really blend it out, along with connecting it to this outer corner up here and really kind of rounding out this shape. I feel like I'm holding my palette. What am I doing? Now I'm going in with the Thrive Liquid Lash Extensions Mascara. This stuff is still going strong. I have been using this for quite a while now. Back when, I don't know, I put up a video when I was first trying it out. I've been using it for forever and it still is just going strong. I'm really, really gonna build this up. This one can get kind of clumpy on you, but I feel like with a look that's this dark and intense, that can look really nice. You can also apply false lashes if you want to, but that's not really my vibe. Especially since I'm not like going anywhere, I feel like there's no point in doing that, so I'm not going to. Same with the lower lash line. I'm just building that up until it's almost like kind of clumpy, honestly. And that's where things start to kind of look a little bit less crazy. Now I'm just going in with my brow powder. I had a couple people ask about this. I'm just using an eyeshadow from the Milani Soft and Sultry palette. It is this one right here in the corner because it's got a nice kind of gray or taupey undertone. It's dark but not too dark, so I can fill in my brows like really quickly with this. Okay, that's done. Now I have to take a makeup wipe and get off some of this glitter because I have glitter all over my cheeks. I usually don't like to use makeup wipes. I really, really try not to because they do leave a sort of like film on your skin that is very like pore clogging. But for today's makeup look, we gotta do it. And I'm probably just gonna wash my face shortly after this anyway, so. I did get like some glitter just inside of my lashes over here because I was trying to apply glitter after I put on my mascara. So I'm just taking my finger with the wipe wrapped around it and trying to like get that glitter to come off on the wipe, which I think kind of worked. So definitely if you're going in with this glitter, make sure you get it completely done and exactly how you want it before you put on that mascara. Because like on this side you can see, well I don't know if you can, but there's glitter like inside here, and then this eye there's none. So don't do what I did. I really want to use this L'Oreal Infallible Long Wear Shaping Stick for my foundation. This is in the shade Ivory. Looks pretty good. I'm just going to use this Morphe M439. So this is a really dense kabuki brush, and I'm going to pick up the product from there and put it all around my skin with that. I haven't really used this before, and I've had it for a long time, so I just really wanted to try it out. I think it's supposed to be matte, and it's definitely multi-purpose. Like you can get one of these in like your contour shade and use these in all sorts of ways. Whenever I'm applying stick foundations, or stick anything really, I like to pick the product up on my brush instead of swiping it onto my face, because that way I don't get too much product all at once. I feel like it's a lot easier to control that way because stick foundations can be a little bit stiff and hard to blend out. So this just works best for me. I'm using that same brush in between my brows, so I may have to clean them up a little bit. Looking close at my skin, this foundation does look really like nice and creamy. It doesn't look super matte or anything like that. It has pretty good coverage, and it looks like you can definitely build it up to get it more full. It's definitely not laying on my nose super great, but I have that problem a lot of the time with foundations. I'm gonna take just a little bit around the jawline and on my ear. I'm not gonna worry too much about it because like I said, I'm not going anywhere. But if I was, I probably would take it down my neck a little bit more too, just to make sure everything matched well. So far I like it. It doesn't look super heavy. It looks nice and creamy, like I said, so it's not like dewy or matte really. It's kind of somewhere in the middle. It might look a little bit thick just on my nose and forehead. Other than that, it looks really good. But I'd be curious to try this also as like a contour. But I don't have a darker shade, so we're not doing that today. For concealer, I'm going to pump a little bit of the Pure 4-in-1 foundation stuff onto the back of my hand and use this. And I'm using this on a Real Techniques setting brush. I just love how easily this buffs the product around, so it doesn't end up like too cakey. And this shade is a little bit lighter, so along with just giving me a little extra coverage, it's also going to brighten up the centers of my skin, drawing attention there and making my, you know, focal features stand out. And then working under the eyes, I'm going to be super careful not to buff off any of my lower lash eyeshadow. I'm going to take the tiniest bit more and really buff some concealer into this inner corner, because we don't want any of my blue pigment from my skin showing through. Since there's so much blue eyeshadow there, it can just look a little crazy. Now that that is on, I'm taking my powder and setting especially right underneath my eyes. But I think I'm going to set my forehead a little bit as well in those creases that I have up here, and then my nose, just whatever's extra on my chin and upper lip. I feel like I look super pale on camera, but in my mirror and just in real life, I look normal colored. But I don't know. Since we're looking so pale, let's go in with bronzer. I'm going to use the Thrive bronzer in Rhea. We're really going to bronze up those cheekbones, around the temples, forehead, and along the jawline and neck. And I'm even going to take a little bit back onto my ears, just to kind of tie the color together. Lately, instead of making like a straight line like this, I'll still blend the product right here, and then at the very end, without taking any additional product, I just sort of sweep my brush over this entire outer cheek jaw area. I feel like it just kind of like blends the color together a little bit better. And then if you ever feel like you do too much, like it gets muddy down here or anything, you can go in with any sort of foundation powder or even translucent powder and just kind of brush it over that area to kind of clean it up. I look a little more alive now, but I'm still like so pale. What is going on? For blush, I've been really into this Wet n Wild Color Icon blush in Mellow Wine. It's gonna look a little crazy, but it's actually a very natural kind of color because it just looks like you have kind of like a sunburn or a frostbite or just natural flush to your face instead of looking like you applied like a pink blush. Does that make sense? So even though it kind of looks like it'd be a lot of color, with the eyes, I think it's gonna look super natural in the end. So we'll put that on. Just put that on the cheeks. This kind of reminds me, I don't know if you guys know about Patrick Ta. He has like his own makeup line, Patrick Ta Beauty. And oh, he's like a celebrity makeup artist. He does really beautiful makeup. He just came out with new blushes. And when he was describing them, I feel like one shade in particular kind of looked like this shade. And I was like, that's awesome, because I got the same thing from Wet n Wild basically. And it looks so good. I just get a little carried away just right here. Usually just on this cheek too. Why is that down so low? That's a little better. So I absolutely love this. It just makes you look really sun-kissed and natural and still really pretty. And it can go with pretty much any kind of a look. When I have a lot of glitter like this on the eyes, I don't usually like to go in with a highlighter because I feel like it can just look crazy. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to use my Morphe Continuous Setting Mist by just spraying it onto the back of my sponge. Even though this is a dry sponge, it will still help to set the skin, and I'm just gonna press that into the skin. Usually this mister is perfect for just spraying directly onto your face without getting any water droplets, but mine is running out, so it does kind of splurt big like drops at me, and I don't need that. So I'm just spraying it on the sponge to avoid any droplets or product spitting at my face. Make sure if you're using glitter that before you set your skin, you look around your face, kind of turn your head to different angles of the light to make sure there's no glitter particles, because they can be really hard to get off anyways, but once you've set your skin, oh, it's like impossible pretty much. So if you do find that, just use a clean spoolie brush and just kind of like gently pick it off. And then if you do mess up your makeup, you can kind of go in and buff some like foundation powder over top. That'll just help. Oh, I do have one on my forehead. I didn't listen to my own tip. There. Okay, now I'm going to use a little bit of my boy brow. I feel like my brow hairs are really long and they are going all over the place lately. So boy brow or any sort of brow gel really will help kind of hold them in place better. Not to mention this one has fibers in it, so it's going to give a little extra volume to your brows. And it is colored, which I really like, so that it helps the brow hairs stand out more than like your brow product, powder, pencil, whatever it may be. And I am so hungry. I pretty much just like woke up and started filming, and I want breakfast so bad. Now that I've sort of brushed those brow hairs up, I do feel like I have a bald spot just right in here as usual, so I'm just gonna fill that in a tiny bit. Now I'm just wiping off the foundation from my lips and put on a little bit of lip balm as well. I love applying a little bit of lip balm before any sort of lip product, just a light layer so that it keeps my lips hydrated and just looking a little bit nicer throughout the day. So for lips, I feel like honestly the best way to go with this is probably just to apply like a tinted lip balm or a really kind of clear lip gloss. And the one I want is in my purse, so I'll be right back. Okay, this lip gloss lives in my purse and I think it'll go really good with this look. It goes good with pretty much everything. I wear it on a just natural everyday basis, like every day pretty much. This is the ColourPop So Juicy Plumping Gloss, and mine is in the shade Beachwood. I feel like this will do a really good job too at tying together the blush with the lip to make a little bit more of a cohesive look. And it's gonna give color to my lips, but it's not gonna be like super pigmented or opaque. That way, I don't know, it just kind of downplays the lips and draws attention to the eyes, and we don't have like too many things going on. Yeah. Yep. That's perfect. Oh my gosh. That just, oh, do you see that? My lips look unreal. They look unreal. This gloss is super underrated, I feel like. It is a little sticky, so you do have to be aware of that. Like, I don't know, when I put my lips together right now, it's pretty comfortable, but after a little bit of wear, it does get pretty sticky. So that's something to keep in mind, but something about this formula just makes your lips look like they are so juicy. They really do kind of diminish any sort of like wrinkly spots on your lips that may be from dry or cracked skin, which I have a lot of all the time, and it just makes your lips look so much juicier. I love this color too. It looks crazy in the tube, but it is nice and sheer, but it does give you just enough color that you look super, super healthy. So I love this. I do want to get some more colors though. I want sort of like a pinky kind of color as well, but this with this look and that blush looks so good. I think what I'm gonna do now is just add a little bit more blush and bronzer. Even though it looks pretty good in like my mirror and everything, I feel like if I was gonna wear this throughout the day, I would add a little bit more so that it lasted really well. And you know what? I just feel like it. Ah, looks so good. So there you have it. That is this look all complete. I just really felt like playing with all the colors today in this blue section of the So Jaded palette. I don't even think I told you what palette I was using, but hopefully it was clear because I've been using it pretty much every video ever because I bought it, and that's what you do with things you buy, you use them, right? Right. So yeah, I do love how this turned out, even though there were a couple colors that were a little tricky to work with right from the beginning, but I feel like especially on the second eye, we really nailed it. If you are trying to get into more color, this is definitely very dramatic, but there are ways that you can use some color and make it a little more wearable, and that would be just downplaying the rest of the features on your face. So instead of doing a ton of highlighter, just maybe laying off so that there's no attention on the skin, and then instead of like a really bold kind of lip, even like a really opaque nude can be kind of distracting. Just downplay your lips a little bit so that there's no attention anywhere else but the eyes. When you don't have one focal point, that's when it can kind of look a little crazy, dramatic, over the top, which is great for certain events or parties or just whoever, certain people. If you want to do that, that's great. Sometimes I want to do that too. But if you're trying to wear more color and you want it to be a little more wearable, that is one kind of way to do it. I'm very happy overall with how this turned out. Hopefully you liked it. Let me know if there's other things you want to see from me down below. And now I'm gonna go eat some breakfast. Bye.